Okay, his question is, if you're going to go out and try to meet your customers, who would be the most valuable people that you want to build that relationship with? I like to start with the one that writes the checks. Yeah, and you know, you get better at this as you go. But I like to get to the people who really make decisions, the people who can really make a difference. Now, they may not want to meet with me. You know, 20 years ago, if I went out and I was looking for a sponsor, I wasn't going to get to the CEO. That just wasn't going to happen. I was having a hard time getting in the front door. Today, if I want to go talk to even very, very large companies, I can usually get to the CEO pretty quickly. I mean, I work with companies like Michelin. I'm probably going to be working a deal with J.B. Hunt with their Carrier 360 program. I'm going to start at the top now because I can. And that's taken a long time to get there. Now, here's another thing. Real quick on this topic, he brought up, you know, he didn't meet the brokers he worked with. Well, I understand why a lot of owner-operators don't. I get tax returns for owner-operators. I've been doing it for years. It was not unusual for me when I had one truck owner-operator with his own authority to get somewhere between 50 and 75 1099s. That means he worked with 50 to 75 brokers in a single year. My record was like 190 something. It might have even been bigger. I can't even remember. It was so stupid. Now, can you possibly go out and meet with 75 people in a year? It's not going to happen. My philosophy was 3 to 5 good brokers is all I need to run a really successful trucking company. 3 to 5 good brokers will keep me busier than I would ever be able to want to be anyway. So why would I work with 50 or 75? I have no time to build relationships. I have no time to prove to them how good I really am. Any other questions? Direct shippers. When I was doing business, I would kill to get to a direct shipper. It's difficult. If you haven't done the work to prove your value to a broker, and if you haven't learned about some basic relationship building and negotiating, and if you don't understand rates and lanes, don't even attempt it. They'll kick you out the door in a heartbeat. How many of anybody in the room in freight sales? It is a really, really competitive business. And it's still a lot of the old boy network. Sometimes they just do business with these people because they've always done business with them. And trying to break into that is not amateur hour. You got to really know what you're doing. So brokers are kind of desperate to move freight. So they're easy. And if you're not all that successful with brokers, and they're just about begging you, you don't stand a chance at the shipper level. Shippers do not want to deal with one truck at a time. That's why brokers are here. They're always going to be here. We need them in the industry. Shippers love them. You should start loving them. In the door and start building that relationship. So now if I take that load and I make it a little better for him and I don't complain about everything that's wrong with it, is he more likely to give me a load that's maybe a little better? All right, have I taken a step up in the world now? And if I prove to him that that load may have been okay, but I'm going to make it even better, is he more likely to give me the next load that's a little better? Do the best loads make it to the load ports? No. If you're not familiar with that, they don't. Why would they? I was a broker at one time. You call me a cold call off the load board, I have no idea who you are, you're not getting my best freight. I'm not even posting that stuff. Because I have a relationship with you and I know you're a problem solver, you're getting my best freight every time. It's not going on the board and calling you and say, hey, are you in the area? Because I got a killer load for you right now. So I will quickly become that guy that doesn't even have to go to the load board anymore. They'll be calling me and giving me their best freight. And when they start doing that, will I still help them out once in a while and take that garbage load? Yeah. Are you going to get taken advantage of? Maybe. You might once in a while. Business is tough. It's not for sissies. But so what? So what? I can only be taken advantage of if I let myself be. If I think they're taking advantage of me, well, then that's not a good relationship, and I just might move on and find a new customer. But it doesn't happen often. You build relationships like that, that's a true win-win. Now, I'd like to tell stories. This is one of my favorite stories. It took me a long, long time. I kind of knew the lesson, and I was hoping it would work, and I've seen it work in other areas. But this is one of those times where the payoff came way, way down the line. So I was contracted to FedEx at the time, FedEx Ground, and I was running doubles between Akron and Columbus, short run. It was just long enough, though, that in Ohio, when the speed limit was 55, it was 260 miles. You could only pull one. You couldn't do two. So this is kind of a lousy run, isn't it? 260 miles, it's overnight, it's from 8 o'clock at night till about 2 in the morning. But it worked for me because I wanted to go back to school. So I owned a couple trucks, had a couple trucks running under my own authority, just got in with FedEx, and I said, this is perfect. I can run 260 miles a night, make some money, still get plenty of sleep, still go back to school. So I went back to school to become a financial planner, and I'm running this at night. And I get down there to the hub, and it's the same thing every night. Take a set of doubles down, usually loaded. I was the last run of the night, so most of the time, unless it was really busy, I brought 2 empties back. So we were on a tight schedule. Unless you had empties, who cares at that point? So I would tend to hang out and talk to people down in the hub and get to know people and build relationships. And there was a new guy, young kid right out of college. I think they called them coordinators. We're always changing names. Basically, they're a dispatcher. They give you your bills or trailer numbers. So I'm just hanging out talking to him. I want to get to know this guy. So we're hanging out talking. We've been doing this a couple nights. While we're standing there talking, the phone rings. John picks it up, and I see he's like nodding, he's not saying anything, and he's getting that look, and his face is getting really white, and he's like gasping for air, and he hangs up the phone, and he's just giving me this deer in the headlights look. And I said, John, what's wrong? And he said, I don't even know if this is right. And I said, what? And he said, you know the scale just south of here? And I go back north. I said, yeah, the one between here and Cincinnati. And he said, yeah. They just told me they've got a set of our doubles there that weigh 140,000 pounds. And I said, wow, that's a little heavy. I said, we need to fix that. I said, I'm surprised they still have tires. So, what's the big deal? We'll just, fix it. Send some trailers down there later on, and you're just going to have to throw some freight. And he said, yeah, but you don't get it. There's sales flyers for Kmart, and the sales in 2 days. We can't hold those things up even a couple hours, or we will not get them out to the store, and at that point, that whole load is completely worthless. And I said, John, I don't think it's a big deal. I said, I've got a couple empties, and I don't have to be anywhere, and I'll just run down to the scale. We'll just back the trailers up against each other. The driver and I will just start throwing freight till we can get them right. I said, if they're 140, we should be okay. And he said, oh my God. I said, but I don't know how to pay you. And I don't know who to ask it. I said, John, it doesn't matter. He said, we'll figure this out. We just need to serve the customer. That's all that matters right now. We need to serve the customer. So I start heading down there. I did have a cell phone way back then, one of the first drivers that did. And before I even get to the scale, John calls me. He said, we got a problem. I said, I know, I'm working on it. And he said, no, we've got a bigger problem. There's another set at about 120,000 pounds that just hit the scale. And I said, John, this is starting to get a little ugly. I said, you need to start getting some guys with empties and get them down here. I said, I'll do this as long as I have to. But you're going to have to give me some help. And he said, it's possible there's 3 more sets coming. They've been loading these things all night out of Kentucky and Cincinnati, and he said nobody was paying attention because sales flyers in perfectly square boxes packed into a package trailer where you can stuff the bottom, put the shelves down, stuff the top. You can really overload these things, and that's what they did. And I ran trailers back and forth for about 14 hours straight. Yeah, I think I probably broke hours of service a little bit, but we had to serve the customer, and we did. So, turns out, John never figured out how to pay me. I didn't make a big deal about it. So, life goes on. I decide I don't like Northeast Ohio winters anymore. I'm going to move to Florida. So I transfer my contract down to Jacksonville. Then they open a new hub in Orlando. I transfer to Orlando. And I've got 3 trucks running for them, nice contract. And at that time, FedEx had no system whatsoever for assigning runs. And dedicated runs at FedEx are like gold. The longer dedicated runs, the better. The team runs, whatever you want, but they had no system for assigning them. It was kind of like whatever the line haul manager wanted to do. So it was kind of like the Wild West. So building good relationships with the line haul manager was really important. So one day I'm hanging out at the hub and somebody says, hey, have you met the new line haul manager? And I said, I didn't even know he had one. He said, yeah, I just started this week. And I said, well, I guess I'll head on over to the office and say hello. So I walk over to the office. Guess who the new line haul manager in Orlando is? John. Guess who got really, really good runs? I did. That would be me. Every interaction can be important to your business. Keep that in mind. Every person you interact with, no matter what their position might be today,